James grinned at Celine's suggestion about grabbing food to eat. I think that's a wise decision, even if we weren't hungry, Mim said. Though, this isn't the dining level. We can still check out a few of the stalls that sell food for adventurers shopping here. At the same time, we can gather supplies. Naylor nodded in approval of the idea. The marketplace was a crowded area like usual. Even though the floor was large, there were numerous stalls packed side by side. Whenever he went to the marketplace, James often thought of it as similar to a labyrinth. It had taken him a few times getting lost to slowly understand where a lot of stores were located. With how many stalls were on the floor, he had never taken the time to explore all of it. This was the same for many of the adventurers. As they explored the level and discovered new stalls, they'd mentally take note of the location and return regularly to it. The problem with this was how adventurers would tend to not know any other places aside from where they would frequently visit. Which way do your group members travel inside the marketplace? James asked Mim. He was curious about whether their groups had similar places they'd frequent. There were several aisles that led to different parts of the marketplace, and James's group would often travel down the first aisle against the wall of the floor where the elevators and stairs were located. Mim pointed ahead. We usually just go straight. Looking in the direction that Mim indicated, he only saw a few stalls they recognized, only because they were visible from where they were standing. We've never been in that direction, Peter commented. How about your group? Sam asked. James pointed down the aisle to their left. When we first came to the marketplace, we just chose that one, since it was the closest. Judging by how they reacted to his words, James realized that Mim's group hadn't traveled that way. Both groups had explored different parts of the marketplace, likely never seeing the same stores as the other due to the layout. Which way should we go? Or should we just separate and go down the aisles we're used to going? Kate asked everyone. Eyes widening, Celine said, Why don't we try going down the aisle that none of us have visited? I feel like this will give us a chance to explore a new area while we get to know one another. She grinned at the thought. Maya nodded enthusiastically. I think that's a great idea. Having a chance to discover new places inside the marketplace sounds fun. She looked at James. What do you think? I think that's great. James looked at his group to make sure everyone was okay with the idea before directing his attention to Mim's group. I'm good if all of you are. Mim smiled at Celine for her idea. I think that means that we should do that. Pausing, Mim said to Celine, Since this is your idea, why don't you pick where we'll go? Happy about the chance to pick the destination, Celine pointed at the aisle furthest to the right. I feel like that way would prevent us from running into anything familiar. Excited about what they'd find, the two groups headed down the aisle on the opposite side of the one that James's group traveled. So, what type of things does your group gather before a request? James asked Sam, curious about what the more experienced group selected. Tilting his head while he thought, Sam said, The basics that we get are waking leaves, which I think nearly all adventurers gather. Fortunately, many of the stalls sell the leaves, Lal said. I could only imagine the trouble it would be if only a few stalls sold it.